Hello, everybody. This is Matt Heisey, owner of the College Funding Connection, back with another review on another university today, Rice University. And we're going to be doing a cost review, which we've done for some other schools. You'll see a series of other videos coming out here pretty soon. But our belief is that early planning is really so critical, and so many families don't do it or don't understand how to do it, to really come up with relevant college choices or options for the student, college-bound student in their home. So we're picking really some very popular and some of the large universities to start with. But we'll take a look at the cost estimates and financial aid estimates for a sample case here in some more detail. Our company, the College Funding Connection, we are headquartered in Northeast Ohio, but we do work with clients all over the United States. And here is our website below if you'd like to check it out to get some more information, is www.collegefc.com. So before we get into more specific numbers for Rice University, I wanted to take a look at some of the basics. The first thing is the calculations or the formulas that are used to come up with financial aid numbers for your student. You may or may not be familiar with the expected family contribution, also known as the EFC. And simply put, this is the portion of your income and assets that you will be expected to contribute towards the cost of college. So every school uses this. They're going to look at the result of the FAFSA, which is the federal process through the Department of Education. And then they may also, in addition to FAFSA, use institutional calculations. And those include a couple others. We talked about FAFSA, but the institutional calculations, which are used by private institutions or colleges, include the profile, CSS profile. And then also a newer one, which they just started using, I believe, last year, is what they call the consensus. And this is where a group of colleges got together and agreed to use a certain type of assessment process. And it's generally speaking, many of the larger, more elite private universities or colleges. But for whether they're using FAFSA or one of the private calculations, the information that they're looking at is information from the time period from January of the student's junior year in high school to December of their senior year. And this is known as the base year. And then every year thereafter, you do have to reapply for financial aid. And basically, they're looking at the most recent tax year. So in that first year, even though you're applying for financial aid in your student's senior year of high school, they're actually going back to their junior year financially and looking at the most recent tax year for the student and then also for mom and dad. So remember that you and your student are kind of in this together when it comes to financial aid calculations. So the final outcome then is the financial need. And simply, this is the cost of attendance or retail price on the school minus the family's EFC equals how much aid you're eligible for. So let's take a look then and see what this looks like specifically for Rice University. So this sample case, we're going to call them the sample family actually. And we're going to take a look at Joey's sample. Now, just to give you a little backstory here, Joey is an only student or only child in his home, a pretty good high school student. We'll take a look at some academics. And then we're going to go through the categories and information that is requested by pretty much every college out there. Okay, so starting off with Joey's academic credentials, and we have to remember that when we talk about financial aid, we're talking about need-based aid as well as merit-based aid. So if there's any opportunity for money, especially free money for college through scholarships, we want to look at that. But we also have to look at realistic choices for Joey because some schools are just very competitive. So we need to know if Joey has a chance of getting into a particular school. So Joey took the ACT and SAT tests. We're just going to focus on the ACT for now. Scored a 29, which is pretty good. And he did take it a couple of times. His grade point average is a 4.0. As far as class rank, he's in about the top 10% of his class. Now, I mentioned that Joey is an only child. Now, you may have more than one child in your home. You may have more than one child in college. And if that's the case, that can make a big difference for financial aid. So when we're running calculations for families, we want to make sure that we're capturing all the relevant information. We're not just talking about Joey. If Joey had younger siblings, we're going to collect all that information because that can make a difference, believe it or not, in how much financial aid Joey actually receives. We then have to look at the financial information, and this is probably the toughest part for most families in trying to understand why they're asking certain questions. And the reality is, it's the federal government. You're applying for federal aid. Kind of like IRS forms, they're going to ask a lot of private questions about your finances, and it's just the way it is. So we have to make sure that we're adhering to those regulations. So mom and dad's income and assets will count for financial aid for Joey. We see that they're filing jointly. They both work. Between the two of them, they make about $100,000. The parents' non-retirement assets about $200,000. So again, a little backstory here. Unfortunately, Mrs. Sample's father passed away a couple of years ago. Left his daughter $200,000 from his estate. So right now it's just sitting in a bank account. They're not sure what they want to do with that. They have some equity in their home, and some private colleges will actually ask about how much equity you have in your house. You know, the value minus the debt on your house. And then they will ask about other types of assets, small business assets, if you're a business owner. In this case, retirement account contributions and a few other things. So that's all looked at. And then for Joey, remember Grandpa passed away a couple years ago, and he did leave Joey some money for college. So right now there's about $20,000 sitting in a bank account for Joey, kind of reserved for college. And then mom and dad started a 529 plan through the grocery store or whatever and kept putting money into it. So they have about $20,000 there as well. Now we look at affordability. If we are looking, in this case we're looking specifically at Rice, but if you're in a situation where you don't know which colleges you want to look at or your student isn't sure, that's okay. That's pretty common. But you don't want to wait too long. You want to kind of screen out schools that you know are affordable and also realistic options for your students. So that's what this section is. We then look for schools based on state, likelihood the student's going to get into the school. All that kind of information is considered. So in this case, we knew, so we can just kind of type in specific schools, but you can see there's pretty much any college in the country that we can pull up. And that's kind of the beauty of the software that we use, is that we have all of that data, and we know that it's current and as recent as last year, so very current. So here we have Rice, and then I pulled up a couple other schools for comparison's sake, Emory and Northwestern. So we're going to save this, and we're going to take a look at the college report, which popped up here right away. So we see Rice University here at the bottom, and then we see Northwestern and Emory for comparison's sake. So Rice, first column is admissibility. Now we know this is would be a difficult school for Joey to get into. It doesn't mean don't apply, but we know it's a very competitive school. They do use the institutional method, which is CSS profile. The cost of attendance is about almost $47,000. That's the retail price for the school. That includes tuition, room, board, books, and ancillary costs, and sometimes travel expense. We have the expected family contribution. So we see for the institutional method, it's about 34. We see right above here for Northwestern that they use the consensus method, which is relatively new, and the EFC is much lower, about $7,000, $8,000 less, which is could be a good thing for this family if they're looking at other colleges as well. So then after we run the numbers, we see that the financial need for Rice is almost $13,000. It's between 12 and 13. Rice typically covers 100%, so that's a good sign as well. So the financial aid estimate for the family is about $14,000 to $15,000 per year, but they still have a net cost. And please keep in mind that college is rarely free. I have families all the time that are excited that their son or daughter got a great scholarship, and then they're shocked when they still get a $20,000 bill in the mail for college. So it's great to have the scholarship money, and you certainly have to get that, or grants or need-based financial aid. But be prepared and still understand that you're still probably going to have to come up with something out of pocket, and that's where you have to look at affordability and see if there's any way to reduce that net cost to your family. And that's what we're going to look at right now. I think these numbers are kind of high, even though some of the schools are down to 24. We see Rice's 32,000. And I'm going to show you, kind of work a little financial magic here and bring this number down. So I'm going to go right into mom and dad's finances. And if you remember, I talked about her dad passing away, leaving them $200,000. I can tell you right now, having done this for over 10 years myself, that this is going to be a big red flag for the schools. They're going to see that money. You have to report it. So the only thing you can do really is make that number smaller. So we're going to change it from 200,000 down to 20,000. Now we're not spending the money. What we're doing is repositioning assets and in a perfectly legal fashion, keeping them available, keeping them completely liquid for the family, but putting them in a pocket that the colleges don't necessarily look at. And it's simply called asset sheltering. And there are ways to do this to bring those assets down to a smaller number when applying for financial aid. So I'm going to go down and save my work. So we changed it from 200 to 20,000. And then we're going to go into Joey's accounts, and we remember here that Grandpa left him 20,000. Now keep in mind, for student assets, even more so than parents, the colleges are going to expect that money to be used for college, which obviously was set up there, but you don't want to just give it away to the college unnecessarily. So we know that they're going to assess this at about 20% of the asset per year, or $4,000 on $20,000. That would be the reduction in Joey's financial aid offer. So we're going to make this disappear by magic again. And again, we're not talking about spending it, but doing something else with it. And so we brought that down so we don't have to now report this on the financial aid applications. And I'm going to save that too. We're now going to go back and look at these colleges again. And look at this. We were at 26, I think, for Emory and Northwestern, and 32,000 for Rice University. So we brought this all the way down to $14,000 and $18,000. So just for Rice University, that's a $14,000 reduction in costs. That means savings over 4 years of over $56,000 that this family can keep in their pocket rather than spending it on Joey's college education. So just think of what you can do with $56,000. That could be used for retirement. It could be used to pay off maybe some student loans that Joey may have to take out after college. All kinds of things that can be done, but giving it away unnecessarily to the college, believe me, they have tens of millions of dollars, most of these larger schools, into the billions of dollars. They don't necessarily need your money as an involuntary donation. So anyway, that's the net cost reduction here in this case. We can run similar numbers for other schools, but wanted to show you a quick sample of what this looked like for Rice University. So I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint here. We'll just finish up. Okay, we're back at the PowerPoint screen. And just so you know, we are a professional financial aid planning and college preparatory service. We work and do financial aid planning with families on a daily basis and have been for over 10 years now. One thing we offer to any family that participates in our education programs, which includes this video, is a 1-hour no obligation consultation that's absolutely free. If you are interested in doing this, what we would do is look at your family's finances, cross-reference it with particular colleges that you may be interested. Maybe it's Rice University or some other school. And we can let you know what kind of net costs you're looking at. And then we can also let you know if there's anything you can do to make those costs much lower for your family, like we just saw for the sample family. Here is the website, our website, and the contact page. If you are interested, now this is right below the screen, so all you have to do is click on it, enter in your contact information, and we'll get back to you as quickly as we can. But our website is www.collegefc.com/contact us is the contact page, and we'll be in touch with you and let you know, schedule a time to meet with you, and we'll let you know what to have ready or prepared, and so that we can make the meeting as productive as possible. When you do sign up for a consultation, a couple other things we can include you in. We do have a free monthly newsletter with some great resources and information there. And we also have a free student resource called the Student Roadmap to Success. So if you have a sophomore, junior, or senior in high school, it's a nice step-by-step instruction manual for them. Not very complicated, but gives them a nice timeline of things that they should be working on. That's available to you absolutely free. So by opting in or contacting us for a consultation, we'll include you on those two items as well. So thanks for watching the video today on Rice University. Stay tuned. We'll have some other videos for other schools. And until then, best of luck with your college plans. Thanks.